My first vision of the school itself, you come around through some pine trees and you drop down into a valley and you cross over a little wooden bridge. We rise up a hill and you break up on top of a small hill, and just in the distance, not that far away, you see a couple school buildings on top of a hill that has dry brown grass all the way around it. Even out in the middle of nowhere, I described going to the Bumble School as drive to nowhere, then turn left and drive another hour, and you finally get to the real middle of nowhere. And I stood with my small group of, our small group of missionaries, and we stood in the hill. The wind was blowing, it was cold, in front of a ragtag group of students in their uniforms, about 175 boys and girls and their staff. And we told them who we were, where we were from, and they called forward the students that were from the village of Matasi. We shook hands, and I turned to Pastor McKinwa and said, "Headmaster, do you have a plan?" He took off running, literally ran away from the group into this little tiny office building, and he came back with a stack of papers flapping in the wind, and he said, "Here is our plan." And he opened it up. "Here's where we are now," he would say. And what about all these other buildings? He says, "They're still a dream." So he said, "Would you help us make our dream come true?" And so I said, "Well, I have friends at a Lutheran high school in New York and friends at Trinity Lutheran Church. And I pledge you today we will help you with this school." Well, we had our first group, we had 31 people. And then we had 175 students and staff working on the project. We probably had another 250, 300 villagers on site and families that came. And in 5 days, we cut down 500 pine trees we purchased from the Catholic Church. We dug a trench, 1.5 miles long, about 1 foot wide and a full 1 meter, 3 feet deep. And then we laid the pipe. We built 6 taps, which is mixing concrete and putting all the piping in place all across the campus, and turned the valve on and water flowed. Electricity, that followed the same path as the water line. In order to do that, we had to plant 30 power poles, dig them in by hand, hang the cable across 1.5 miles, build a power distribution building, and then run all the cabling and electrify every building on campus. It took a series of 3 different trips to get that done over the course of a year. 6 days we got the power poles in, we got the building built, and all the lines run. We had to come back on another trip when the wire finally showed up from Italy, string the wire. We did some more extensions at the school. The students built their own dorms, nailing these slab wood to posts buried in the ground so they could have a place to sleep. They fit the boards together the best they can with these half logs, and that's a dirt floor, and they built homemade bunk beds. It looked like a treehouse inside, all the way up into the rafters. They sleep students 2 people to a bunk. So in our normal concept, when we think of a bunk bed, over there, that sleeps 4. Head to toe on the bottom and head to toe on top. We're at 6,500 feet of elevation at this school. It's in the highlands. A church from Germany helped get the start on the girls' dorm, but they ran out of funding. We helped get the boys' dorm built and complete the girls' dorm. In order for these students to take their national exams, for the opportunity to go on to vocational school, nursing school, or university, they have to be administered and be taken in a proper facility. And that multipurpose hall is the proper facility. It's large, it handles all the testing, it's a multiple classroom. They have study halls, they do English training in there. It's also where they do their theater, their production, their general class assemblies when the weather's bad. It's where they eat their meals when the weather's bad outside and it's raining out. So it's the kitchen, it's the storage room, it's the auditorium, it's a classroom, it's a test-taking area, It's the clinic, the on-site clinic we have started, the dispensary. So it is truly a multi-purpose hall. It's like a quad on a college campus. There's a central parade ground and gathering space surrounded by buildings, anchored by the current classroom, which will become the new administration block. And at the far end will be the new science lab. It's been a kind of a broad effort, but it's really been focused and come out of Trinity. And Trinity members and community members traveling over twice a year. That's unheard of. In churches in the St. Clair Synod, where they go once every 3 years, or maybe once a year, or once every other. We've been going twice a year with major projects in mind to help our partners make that dream come true. For years, I guess we've heard the expression, we're all part of a global village. As Christians, we are called in the Great Commission to go, therefore, to all nations and love and serve and spread the gospel. And part of that gospel message is love. We are first and foremost called to love ourselves and love our God and love our neighbor. And if we're not doing that, if we're not loving our neighbor and helping them meet their needs, then we're really not living out our gospel proclamation. It's not. We can keep telling them over and over, Jesus loves you, and their child dies. Tell them Jesus loves you, and they go uneducated. We tell them Jesus loves you, and they're hauling buckets of putrid water up 400 feet to drink. Didn't make sense. When I went into missions, it connected my faith. My faith became real. I found out when I went, and we would give people fresh water, hope for a future, walk back more fulfilled. Wow, I went to give, but I received more. What did I receive in return? A changed heart, changed passion, new desire. Going as a missionary or sending someone in your place connects the dots, makes the gospel message real.